Hi, I'm Kim, this is Homestead Witchery, and today I'm going to talk about herbal medicine. This is not exactly because of COVID-19. I'm not really going to talk about that because I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know what to do with that. Nobody really knows so far. Ta-da! But I'm not really going to go into that. That is kind of why I'm talking about that, because my husband has a cold and I didn't want to go to the store to get medicine. I just don't want to leave the house. So let's get started. Last night my husband was coughing like crazy. It was like 1 in the morning. This is the second night in a row he's done that he's been sick and coughing like that, and I'm tired and he's tired. He has school today, so I came out into the kitchen and made him some tea. I was able to collect some stuff together and make a tea that helped his cough and helped him get to sleep. So I got really lucky. When we first moved to Tucson, actually I was still living in Colorado. When Ken was living here looking for a house for us, he had bought the house, but I was still getting ready to move. So I was looking for mason jars because I knew when I got here I wanted to really build up my store of resins and herbs and things, because I have a house now. So I found a lady on Craigslist who was selling a bunch of mason jars. But it turned out it's not just mason jars. She's an Ayurvedic healer, and she was selling the stuff in the mason jars too. So I got a crap ton of Ayurvedic stuff, most of which I don't know what to do with, so I'm spent a lot of time Googling. But some things I do know about, so that's part of what I used in this tea last night. The primary things that I used for the tea for Ken last night, one of the main things was actually the one that I bought on Etsy from Herbal Revolution, and her shop is theherbalrevolution.etsy.com. It's called Love Your Lungs Tea, and it has a bunch of herbal stuff. I'm not going to read you her recipe because you can go buy it from her if you want to. But it's got some good stuff for lung health, and so that's the base that I used. And I added red clover, marshmallow root, slippery elm for the coughing and lung issues, because he also has asthma. But I also added catnip and chamomile for to help him sleep. Plus chamomile just smells great. Oh, I also added tulsi because it's really good for colds. Honey, because, come on, one, it probably tasted like garbage because of all the stuff I added, and two, honey's good for coughing and colds and throat stuff. But the big thing that I really like adding was prickly lettuce. It is a wild kind of lettuce that grew in my yard. Unfortunately, I didn't even know that it was good for anything until right before I was about to leave Colorado, so I was only able to get 2 plants dried and stored to bring down here. So if you live in Colorado and you got prickly lettuce in your yard and you know it's not sprayed and there aren't a bunch of cars going by, basically if it's clean and you happen to dry some prickly lettuce and send me some, I would be willing to barter some jewelry for that, or eggshells, whatever. Let's just message me, let's talk about bartering. Anyway, those are the things that I put in the tea for him last night, and I got that knowledge about what I could use from some books from basically 20 years of using plants and herbs as medicine, and because Google exists. So here are some of the books that I like and recommend to people when they ask me. Or generally they don't ask me because I don't usually talk to people all that much. But in groups on Facebook, there are, like in the Witch Bitch Amateur Hour Podcast Coven group, or WABA, they're constantly new people because it's a podcast, so new people find the podcast all the time, and there are baby witches come in and they say, hey, what books do you recommend for a beginner? This is always the first and main book I recommend. It's Kitchen Witchery, a compendium of oils, unguents, incense, tinctures, and comestibles by Mary F. Daniel. And it's full of good stuff like tinctures, potpourri, food, teas. Not all of it is to be eaten or taken in. Some of it is just like potpourri, you don't eat that. There's a good recipe for a Hecate incense that I use. So that's the first book. Go get this one, it's great. Maybe I'll link it below, I don't know, maybe. I'm not going to get anything if I do, so if I link it below, I don't get anything from, like everybody says, oh, you'll support the channel. I don't have that yet, I guess. So I'm just linking so it's easy for you to find. So the second one is Medicinal Plants of the Mountain West. This was more when I was living in Colorado. There are mountains here and it is the West, so some of it I can still find. But mostly this is a regional book for herbs. It's by Michael Moore, so if you live near me, this would be good. But if you don't live near me, just look for Google regional foraging and whatever region you live in, and stuff will pop up. Finally is the Wild Food Trailguide by Alan Hall. This is one of the oldest books I have. It was my uncle's, I think, because it's from Yorktown High School Library in Arlington, Virginia. And maybe it was my mom's, but I'm pretty sure it was my Uncle Tim's. Don't tell him I have it, I guess. But look, it's got, I love these. I love library books. I love stuff like that. I wish it had the card in it, because remember when they would stamp it? It was so great. Anyway, as far as where you can find herbs, you can do a lot of wild crafting. Be careful with that, because you don't want to go picking up poisonous stuff, or the stuff that's bad for you, or it might have side effects that you don't expect. You can get it on Etsy, like this I got from Etsy. Here's the... Definitely go check out her shop. You can get it from places like Sprouts. I think I've gotten some on Amazon. Mountain Rose Herbals, maybe, I think is one. Wendy Wildcraft, I don't remember if I said that. That's where I get some of the herbs and things that I use. But tell you what, come join the coven at the Witch Bitch Amateur Hour podcast coven group on Facebook. Look for it and ask me there, or you can ask below and maybe I'll remember. I'll probably put some links in the description box below. Anyway, that's all that I've got this week. I started a new job. It's healthcare, and it's in a place where I work with a geriatric population, and things are kind of getting weird because of this whole virus. So I'm really busy and I'm still learning the job. So I don't really have a lot of time to do videos like I did 2 weeks ago. So if you have suggestions for anybody as far as resources, I would love if you would put them in comments. If you have any suggestions on videos that you'd like to see later, throw them down there or message me on Instagram, whatever. It's not hard to find me. It's Homestead Witchery here and on Instagram. Clever Kim's, and Facebook too actually, and Clever Kim's Curios basically everywhere. I will be doing another follow-up video on my altar once I get it cleaned out more. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry for all the rambling. That's it. I'll see you next week.